Sorry.
No problem. I was just going to ask you the same question before we go on break, and we know that you're also creative, so can you share with the audience what makes you creative?
What makes me creative?
Yes.
I've always believed, at least I don't know about other people, but at least for myself, the more creative, the more time I have, the more creative I am. If I'm overloaded with just stuff on my schedule or just stressful circumstances in my life, sort of my imagination is obliterated. I can't really imagine in the types of ways that would help me be creative in the way that I'm used to being, in terms of writing poetry or writing fictional stories, the types of things that I write. And then also my creativity comes from different areas, right? Like for me to write, say, a story, again, I need to have sort of a stable environment with not too much stress and nothing to do in order to be creative in that way. However, if in order to write poetry, I need to experience a lot of suffering. I don't know why that is, but I am the most creative poetry-wise when I am in the worst, probably worst experiences of my life. So,
hey, girl, listen to me. Like, you want me to tell you something? Like, my paintings, the best paintings I have, like, they build up inside me during the turmoil, and when I'm finally ready to release it, I release it as paintings, and it's unbelievable to me because there's people out there who have trained to be painters their whole lives, and I never trained to be a painter. And some of my stuff I've been told is very good. So I totally get that. Like, it's that expression that comes from your gut.
Right. It comes, I don't know, from some kind of well of pain and darkness comes the poetry. So there you go.
Well, girl, you got to share some of that.
What was that, Annie?
Some of that with us.
Yes.
Oh, God, I don't know about that. We'll see.
No, girl, I'm telling you, that's always the best stuff. The stuff that makes you most vulnerable is always the best. I've learned this recently. Like, it seems like I'm always like, I'll be really embarrassed about a painting, and I'll think that it's really lame or that it just isn't good enough, and then people will just respond to it in a way that I never could have understood. You should check it out. Like, we should express that, like, show it. I think that you probably do amazing.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Sure, yeah. And we're going to actually take a break, and we're going to continue with our list of what things that make you unique. Hello, this is Karen, and here is today's trending news story. Nikki Bella and Artem Chingzavez are the proud parents of a baby boy. The Total Bella star and her pro dancer fiance welcomed their first child on Friday. The couple announced the news on Sunday, just a few hours after her twin sister Brie Bella announced her baby boy arrival on Saturday. And that's it for today's trending news story.
Real Girlfriends Across America is on Patreon. Please follow us at patreon.com/Real Girlfriends Across America. We strive to bring good content, and we appreciate every show of support. Your donation could make a world of difference. Thank you for listening and all that you do.
And thank everyone for waiting while we take our break. So now we're back talking about things that make us unique. So I'm going to start off with you, Annie. So the next item on our list is your perspective. So everyone, as you know, has different perspectives on how they view the world. No one has
Right.
lived like you. No one has experienced the same thing that you have experienced within 24 hours a day or within 7
Right.
days a week. So what do you think makes your perspective on life unique to others?
Okay. So let's see, it was November 7th of 2018. I fell 12 feet from a second floor loft. And I worked in construction for years and bartending, and I never hurt myself that badly. I've hurt myself before. We'll go into that later. But this particular time, my foot got stuck in a drop-down stair. The bolt was missing, and it knocked me out. And I dropped down, blew my knee out because I hung from the stair for a second or two. And then I fell and broke my back, and I had to hike 3/4 of a mile down a mountain in the snow because it was snowed so bad my car couldn't make it up the night before. I lived off-grid at the time in Colorado with compost toilets and solar power and everything, right? So I went into the hospital, and I was recovering pretty well, and then I got a staph infection, and I didn't know it at the time. I was sent home, and about a few months later, I was so sick. Went into ERs about 6 different times. They couldn't figure out what was wrong with me, and finally I got to the point where I was dying, and they finally admitted me, and I was in the hospital for about 4 months. I was on chest tubes. I had internal bleeds. My spine ended up being so infected that it broke in another 2 places, and I couldn't even stand up or walk. And when I came out of there, I was homeless. It's crazy. It's crazy. It's like a Lifetime movie plus, 18,000 years of drama. But I came out and I was homeless, and my car was trashed, and I lived by the train tracks with my dog. And I started working 3 days later, and I got myself into a place within a month. But the biggest thing that it taught me, honestly, is not only a different perspective on life, like understanding, I guess is the word, or unconditional love for other people, because I've come to realize that you never know what other people. I mean, I've always been trying to be good to people, but on the level of like where you're dying, like you need to be good to people because you never know what people are going through, and you never know what they've been through in their life. I in addition to that, my patience. I think patience, if people would practice more patience, life would be a lot easier. When you go to Walmart and you're going to go to money services, or you're just going to the grocery store for something, like you're probably going to run into a line. If you don't, that's a blessing. If you do, then that's normal, right? And I feel like people just need to have less rage and have more patience in life. And I've thank God I've acquired that from what I've been through. Because spending 4 months dying in a hospital, you can wait in any line you ever want to.
Yeah, I get that. I completely get that. And I'm glad that you're fine now, even though you've been through all that.
Oh, yeah, there's not a lot that could take me down, girl.
Yeah, it sounds like you're a strong lady. And I'm going to ask you the same question, Kay. What do you think makes your perspective on life different than others?
What makes my perspective on life different from others?
Yeah, so what experience do you think in your life has shaped your perspective?
Well, again, I think my childhood has a lot to do with it. I've learned to be sort of an independent thinker and sort of suspicious of the status quo, and people who, have power and feel that you should accept anything they say without question. I'm just really suspicious and critical of that type of thinking. I mean, I'm sure there are other people that have that. I don't know that my perspective is different from anyone else's because, I mean, there's like more than 1 billion people on the planet. I mean, I'm sure that somebody has a similar, I mean, maybe not exact, but at least a similar perspective to mine. But yeah, I think that my childhood has a lot to do with it. I'm just, I was homeschooled, and it's easy for me to be by myself. It's difficult for me. Well, I sort of give everybody, I give everybody the benefit of the doubt. Like I meet people, and if they say, I'm purple, I'll take them at their word. Okay, you're purple, until one day they show me their true color and it's not purple, it's blue. And I'm like, oh, you're not purple, you're blue. So then from then on, I don't trust that person. And it's really hard for me to trust someone that has revealed themselves as a liar. So Yeah.
Right. Okay. And we have a few more items on the list. I'm just going to name a few of them, and then I'm going to end off by asking you guys one more question. So the other three things that I'm going to just briefly mention is that makes us unique is hobbies. So whatever hobby you choose, your taste in things, so your personal taste in, let's say, clothing, food, whatever your preference is, that makes you unique. Your goals makes you unique because they're not all chasing after the same goals. And then finally is passion. So my question to you, Kay, is what are you most passionate about?
What am I most passionate about? That's it's a good question. I would have to say something that it triggers my passion is when things like are not I don't want to say as they should be because that's sort of like a judgment call, but I'm sort of a person that gets really upset about the principle of things. So, like, here's a good example. And I'm a lot better now than I was as a kid. Like, when I was a teenager, man, I was just I'm just a lot better, right? You know, a lot better as I've matured and gotten older than I used to be. So, for an example, when I was a teenager, I went to this African American Baptist church, and they had trainings for the deacons, like little boys to become deacons. And they had deaconesses, but they didn't have trainings for the little girls to become deaconesses. And I went on sort of this whole rights for women thing and was like, why do you guys do it for the boys and not the girls? And because of me, they started a training for deaconesses, and I participated for about 2 Sundays, and then I was like done. I was like, yeah, my goal was just to get it started. So that's the kind of on the principle of things type of person I have that ability to be. I'm a lot better now. I'm not gung-ho as much as I used to be. I'm not as much of a black and white type of person as I used to be. I think I've become far more malleable as I've experienced life and, you know, gone through things. So, but yeah, so there you go.
Okay. And what about you, Annie? What are you most passionate about?
Oh boy. I think that at my age and where I'm at in life is my big passion is to in my own actions and pushing other women especially is to chase your dreams and chase your like at least try. You know, you're never too old to succeed. You're never too old to try those things that you always thought that you were too afraid to or you were told you couldn't do. I think that we all have such a shitty opinion of ourselves sometimes, and other people around us can push that feeling about ourselves, right? And we need to shine. It's like I always say, it's never too late to shine, because I learned that in the past few years. And so I feel like everybody just needs to like just take a chance, take a risk. You know, everybody that's ever succeeded, if you look and see the people that are super successful, they'll always say that they failed many, many times before they succeeded. And who cares if it's fun, right?
Yeah. And I think that the purpose of this call or this podcast for today is just to let everyone know that everyone's different. We're all, you know, with different things. We have a mixture of different personality traits, different things that we been through, our habits, our experiences, creativity that makes us unique. So this is the reason why we talked about this tonight. But we're going to wrap up. We have less than a minute. So thank you, girls, again for dialing in and participating in tonight's call. And we are going to be back tomorrow with another great episode. But everyone hold the line for the outro. And again, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening to yet another episode of The Real Girlfriends Across America. Make sure you tune in tomorrow. We're here Sunday through Thursday at 9 p.m. EDT time or 6 p.m. PDT time. Make sure you tune in on all of our platforms, and that's anywhere where podcasts are being played. Make sure you visit us at www.realgirlfriend